One of the worst things about mental health challenges is that it can make you feel like it's a solitary struggle. And it's precisely that loneliness that our next guest is hoping to bridge by sharing his own personal experiences with anxiety and depression in a new memoir. You might know David A. Robertson best as an award-winning author and a public speaker. Well, now he's peeling back the layers and allowing readers into his hard-earned wisdom with all the little monsters. Robertson is a member of the Norway House Cree Nation. He is here this morning to share what he has learned and is learning about living with anxiety. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
When we had you on the show for your first memoir, Blackwater, you had a massive response from readers who wanted to then share with you their stories about rebuilding relationships. And you say you didn't think that you would write another memoir, like one and done, but here we are. What led you to this process and to the book?
Yeah, that lasted about 2 years maybe. It was really just talking to people, whether they're DMing me or emailing me or just stopping me in the street, wanting to talk about not only their grief but the anxiety that they've been through. Because I touched on it a bit on Blackwater. Yeah. And the more this happened, the more I just felt like it was something that I needed to put down on paper. I've become more of an advocate over the years, and writing a book about it from my own experience felt like the next logical step, and to open up a bigger conversation about not only what I'm going through, but what other people might be going through too. And that conversation is really a healing thing. And so I felt like it was a responsibility that I needed to take on. What
are the little monsters that made their way into the title of this book?
I had a therapist many years ago that used this analogy of this kind of monster on your shoulder that whispers into your ear and tells you all the things that you can't do or all the things that you're not worth. And whether you listen to it or not, helps it to grow or to shrink. It never really gets rid of it, but the more you listen to it, the heavier it becomes. Eventually it starts crushing down on you. And then when you're able to hear it but do the things anyway that it says you can't, it becomes this smaller little thing that you can carry. And I think that's the thing, is being able to carry it in a better way.
Oh, I like that analogy. The book focuses in on anxiety in particular and what it feels like when you live with anxiety, the way it manifests, the way it shows up in your life, how it affects your relationships. One of the specific concrete examples you give is around stairs. Can you explain that and how you deal, first of all, what anxiety it stirs up, why, and how you deal with it?
Yeah, it's, I put this list of things I'd like to overcome in my own life, and one of them is stairs. Like for me, I have a heart condition, so when I exert myself too much, I have this skipped heartbeat. When I'm anxious, ironically, it also amps it up a little bit. So I see a large flight of stairs, and there's always this internal conflict that's like, well, there's an elevator there. Yeah. There are stairs here. So if I take the elevator, I can avoid it. But avoidance welcomes more anxiety. And so there's always a decision of, well, do I take the brave route? It sounds silly, but do I take this flight of stairs? Or do I get in the elevator and I go up and I kind of skip it? And so oftentimes lately I've found that I've taken the stairs. And I think that's a good analogy for anybody with struggles that they have. Maybe it's best to take the stairs.
Oh, I like that. Take the stairs. Always take the stairs. You mentioned the medications that you take in this book with intention. Why was that important for you?
Well, I think there's a stigma attached to the medications that we might take for depression, anxiety. There's a bit of shame, maybe, or embarrassment that we have to take medication to get through some days sometimes. And a lot of this book, and including naming medication, like literally naming, like, whether it's alprazolam or bupropion or metoprolol, it normalizes it. And the more you normalize it, it also destigmatizes the medication that we all take. And sometimes that's a part of the interventions we need to get through the day. And that's, as long as we're doing other things to help ourselves as well through it, whether it's CBT or whether it's just like deep breathing. Those are the things that we need to deal with it and live with it more effectively.
The book also has some solutions that have worked for you, which is also such a gift to readers. David, I want to thank you for coming back on a very cold January day. A reminder to you, the new book is called All the Little Monsters, How I Learned to Live with Anxiety. Great lessons in stories inside. Thanks, David.
Thank you so much.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.